Okay, we're live. All right, just gonna introduce. So yes. What's up, guys and girls? It's RichManZ back in the place to be, back in the building. And yes, today I'm joined with a very special guest. We're gonna be talking about our loves for movies, TV series, the whole complete. We're gonna talk about that. So our special guest today is GQ Jammal.
Hey, thank you for having me on the video today. Excited. It's my first collab video. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. So GQ Jammal, just like we were talking like off camera about like just like where we started from, humble beginnings, like reviewing movies and TV. So like for you, just like let the audience know like what was your like the passion to do like movie reviews and TV shows.
My passion, I always love like TV shows. Like I'm a 90's, 2000s like nerd. Like love comedy. I can talk all day about like shows.
Yeah.
Movie. I love movies too.
Yeah.
So
we're both similar now because we're both products of the 90's. I was born in the early 90's. So like we both remember the slew of like TV shows and the movies that were coming out.
Right.
It's crazy, honestly. But like I would just with the TV shows at the time. So the TV shows in the 90's, like what would be your like favorite ones, like your go-to? If you would recommend one.
To shows. I love Martin. I'm a Martin head.
Got the box set. Awesome.
I'm a Martin head. I know every episode by heart.
Yes. The 5 seasons. You got the whole set.
Yes, besides Martin, I love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Second, I believe Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is a better show than Martin, but personally, Martin's my favorite show.
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence is my favorite comedian.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is like the best.
Yeah, I would say I did on my channel, cheap plug. I reviewed the Martin TV series and Fresh Prince. And I always saw those two sitcoms as like they were the two like biggest, not just black sitcoms, but like in the 90's. I thought they were the two like main ones, But I also came to a conclusion that I think Fresh Prince was, overall a better show than Martin. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah.
But Martin, like the first 3 seasons of Martin, they're gold.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Honestly. Yeah.
The show went down when they got married. Martin and Gina got married.
Yeah, there was that problem like off like cameras with like Tisha Campbell and Martin. I don't want to go into detail, but they couldn't be in the same.
They made up after like 25 years. So
exactly, they made up after. But around season 4, season 5, that's when it did just start to decline.
Repetitive, especially with Martin and Pam.
Yeah, those jokes. I think he elevated the show so much, because they had like one thing I love with Martin is just the tremendous chemistry. Martin and Pam, Martin and Tommy without like having the job. You ain't got no job.
So dumb.
Yeah. Oh man. Right, man. So with Martin and Fresh Prince, like I think if you speak to a lot of people, they would be like the 2 main ones. After that, like what would be the ones after? Like would like Sister, Smart Guy, what's another one? Like A Different World? What would be there? 90's, yeah.
Like great 90's?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, let me see. 90's.
Because there's so many GQ, honestly, there's
like 3rd or 4th.
I would say like let's say like if Fresh Prince and Martin are here, it's like the Mount Rushmore, like they're on the top. I'd say like the ones like maybe just the tier beneath, like maybe like Living Single comes to mind. Living Color, we talked, they'll definitely be in there. And Oh, there's so many. Jamie Foxx show, Steve Harvey show, the Wayans brothers.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
can go all day
yes.
about brothers, man.
Oh my God.
Wayne,
Let me just give a clap for the Wayans brothers, man. Like
Wayne's brothers never got its props, man.
what do
Like
you think?
I'm a true Wayne's brothers like fanatic.
Yeah,
Like I didn't like the first season. I didn't like the first season.
me too.
Like after the second half of season 2, that's when the show like picked up its momentum.
Exactly. Yeah, that's when they I remember they moved the setting to when I remember Marlon and Sean, they were like at that news, they were selling the pay. You remember, yeah. So I remember they did a radical shift from the first season to the second and third season.
D the security guard.
Yes.
I believe the show got funny when D like entered the series.
Yeah, that was the mother who was in Friday in Craig's Ma. Yeah, yeah.
But I was just watching Friday before doing this video.
Oh my God, man. Bro, it's my number one. We're gonna talk about movies, but like still, hands down, my number one. Probably a tie between the first Friday and the first House Party. Probably my favorite comedic film. Yeah.
I can talk all day about House Party.
House Party. Oh man.
Yeah.
House Party, man.
Like the first movie I watched as a kid growing up. I remember House Party.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was House Party was very crazy because like my when I was brought to it by my dad actually gave it to me and he's like, man, this is like it came like because I was born early 90s, like 2 years after it came out, he said, check this out. And I was like, man, this is like comedy, the dancing, like the New Jack Swing. I was like, man, I was a fan of like Kid and Play. I tried to grow the
Oh wow.
Tried it. The high topic.
What's your favorite House Party series?
Oh man, the favorite House Party. Ooh, that's a tough one. I really like the first, and even the first two in Class Act. They made the Class Act, yeah, which is bro GQ. A lot of people don't even know about Class Act.
No.
Yeah, it's like
it's a cult classic.
That's it. Us like who are fans of the 90s, New Jack Swing, Kid and Play, we know about that, but people just know about like the first House Party. So. Yeah, I would have to say my favorite probably would be the House Party, then Class Act. That would be my then maybe House Party 2, then House Party 3.
House Party 2 is my favorite, but nothing's being the first House Party. And I love Class Act.
Yeah. The original one was like stellar, man.
LeBron's remaking House Party.
For real. I just 2 weeks ago, I was just watching the Space Jam, I was just watching. They make it.
Space Jam's not that bad. It's not.
I think it's okay, I think I was talking to my friend about this. I think the people who watch Space Jam 2, they watched the original Space Jam, so they kept on comparing like Michael Jordan to LeBron. But I see it as like it's just two different universes. This was one and this was one. So. If you don't compare it, I think you can really, really go into liking Space Jam 2.
Well, yeah, if they didn't like use the whole Space Jam like brand, it could have been like a solid movie.
Exactly. It was just the idea of like LeBron James going in and his son going inside and they battle at the end. What did you think of like Don Cheadle in it as the main attacker?
I always see the woods.
Oh man, I was like, yo, that's not Cheeto?
No.
It was I think it's a passable film. I was like, yeah, I could watch it again,
There were some parts I was just like, I didn't like pay attention, but
honestly, there was some bits and more to the climax, to the end, I was just looking at it like, okay, just all right, whatever. I never took it serious, man. Yeah. So we're talking about like the TV series, like as you said, Wayans brothers. This is a question I've always asked with, especially you who knows about the 90s sitcoms. What do you think happened with all these like 90s, the sitcoms like Wayans Brothers, In Living Color, Fresh Prince? There was a time like it all stopped, like by the 2000s. Wouldn't you say? Like, what do you think? Like the reason,
by the 2000s, I think the social media eras, it was like starting to like pick up.
Blossom up.
Uh,
Yeah, because I remember like because again all of these used to play on BET. Shout out to BET. So like there was a time like I remember like Fresh Prince like ended, Martin ended, you know, Sister Sister, Smart Guy. They all ended. Then these new shows came out like My Wife and Kids came out, the Bernie Mac show, the Parkers, you know, so they were like the earth, you remember?
but yeah, go on.
Yeah, like the early 2000s, those ones came. Then like around 2010s, like the sitcoms just stopped, you know? You know, so it's like I had to always like go back to watching videos on YouTube, or I had the Martin season 3. It's like I had to buy the Martin and like rip it, you know. So it was a shame, you know, because yeah.
You remember when they finally put all the shows on DVDs?
Yes, I was praying for that. Honestly, I was getting them off Amazon. Yeah.
Even if you do, they like, oh man, it costs too much.
Yeah, they were. I was seeing it on. I remember I tried to get Different World, you know, Different World, because I was a big fan. I was trying to get the 6 seasons, and it came up to about, man, more than $70 on Amazon. Like the whole, I was like, no, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, because I was trying to find the Living Color season 4.
Season 4,
they charged like $90.
Oh man.
No way.
It's not. And you know what it is, GQ? They're not even, some of the shows they put, I remember there was a time like Fresh Prince was on Netflix. So like Fresh Prince, and I remember like there was another one. It may have been Sister Sister. They put on Netflix. But some of these shows like William Brothers, like Living Single, man, if you don't get the disc, you ain't gonna watch it. It's gone.
Man, I used to have all the DVDs.
Yeah.
Then I had to like recollect.
Oh man.
Find some of those
Yeah, it's difficult, man, honestly, because like a lot of them, what I love so much, and I know you know this, those ones who came out of the 90s, they were dynamite. They're so timeless that you can watch them now, like 20 years, almost 30 years now. It's still amazing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Believe me, man. Like things. So like, man, with the TV series, so we're talking about like the movies, like you know, so you said like, all right, so your favorite comedic movie, would it be Is Friday as well? Or is it like,
or my favorite like movie?
Let's say like because it's very hard, you know, like when I ask someone like a question like what's your favorite movie, it is so difficult because there's so many genres. You know what I mean?
One of my favorite comedies is Rush Hour 2.
Rush Hour 2. Oh, shout out to Rush Hour 2. But it's like there's so many different genres, you know, to be like, okay, what is your favorite movie? Because Rush Hour 2 and the first one, they're comedic, but it's like action adventure as well. Yeah. You know, so it is difficult. But all right, so if I say like, all right, favorite like action, let's say favorite action movie, what would be yours? Difficult, isn't it?
So my favorite action, of course, Bad Boys is up there.
Bam.
Like the first Bad Boys.
I really love the first Bad Boy, 1995, man. That one was amazing, man. You can just, man, honestly, you can see just the difference. Because I remember I watched all of them, Bad Boys 1 and 2. Then when the third one came out, I watched them all to do. And I saw, as like someone who, you know, kind of reviews videos, why the first one is like an instant classic.
Yeah, and plus Will and Martin was like at their peak at the time, and it made sense.
Yes.
Another one. Do you like Four Brothers?
Four Brothers. With Tyrese, Andre 3000, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. I love that film. I love the story in that. You know how they're all connected. Stellar.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What would be like so action one? All right, like comedy, like strictly comedy. What would be like a favorite comedy? You just watched it. I know you just watched Friday. I know.
Throw the first Friday in.
The first, would it be your best one as well? Like the first one of the Friday series?
5.
Yeah. That would honestly, GQ, that'd be like my top like 5 films of all time. Friday. Yeah.
I would show my kids. I'm like, yo,
I'm telling you, this is what you do if you don't have a job and you're Friday.
You have to like pay attention to like small details in that movie.
You know, there was one. I know you know this, bro. When what's her name? Craig's girlfriend in that. You know, he's trying to win you a lot of joy. Yeah. Oh, there's one scene when like Craig's at home and like Joy, because she keeps on calling his house, keep calling his house. One time she calls, and if you see like her the bed she's sleeping, there's like a guy on the bed. I just clocked him the last time I watched it. I was like, yo,
I pay attention to the details.
Yeah.
Oh, I caught that.
You caught that the last. I was like,
and another thing, Craig just got paid the day before. What did you do with the thing?
So how was he broke?
And what did he do with his paycheck?
I don't get. Yeah, there's a lot of things, you know, because I watched it the first time I watched it. I had to be like 9. It was rated R, of course, but I watched it like young. Then it's like I kept on watching it, and each time I kept on thinking, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Craig got paid on Thursday. How was he broke? Right? And he got fired from stealing boxes at work. I was like, what? Yeah.
I was that stole the boxes.
Yes. That was the one he said, you know.
Like 6 or 7 I watched Friday. It was like the edited version on. It was a USA TV edited.
Right. You watched the TV edited.
It was recorded. I'm like, then I've seen the R-rated movie. Like this movie is like different.
Very. Watch the full one. You know, I had like oh man, this is how old. I had the VHS cassette. Like my dad had it in the attic. You know, so I went up, I popped it in, rewinded it back. And I watched it, and I was like, "Man, I'm too young to be watching this." But still, yeah. But it's like after so many viewings, I was like, "Man, this film is like it's." And you know what's so cool about Friday? I talked about this like when I reviewed it. It was shot on a small budget. It was filmed with under a month.
Oh.
Yeah, it recouped so much, and a lot of the movie, a lot of like actors, it was their first time. You know, Chris Tucker. What's his name? Charles Clark Duncan. You know, he just this small cameo. You know, I think Tiny Lister Debo. It was like not his first, but it was like one of his earlier films. You know, before it came a big name. So it was like a breakout film for a lot of the, you know, the actors in it.
Yeah, Neil Long was.
It's honestly so many like you know the famous quote from it by Felicia, you know, like they use it now, you know, people.
I had a shirt by Felicia. I wore it to the bar, and I had so many pictures with girls like, "Oh, I love your shirt, by Felicia."
By Felicia.
Many people know where by Felicia.
Oh my God, it's like, man, it just shows the legacy of Friday. Like, you know, you're using quotes from that. I see that on memes everywhere. By Felicia, just Craig like. Bye, Felicia. And she goes,
like, oh, you got knocked the heck out.
Yeah. Oh my God. And you know another thing, GQ, like because like Friday came out 1995, and I remember House Party, I think the third one, House Party 3 came 1994. So I know some of the actors that appeared in House Party, they appeared in Friday.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You know, yeah. What's it? Felicia.
Tucker had a small cameo in House Party 3.
Yes.
Turned out to be the star in House Party.
House Party 3. You know, I mean, he's man. Rest in peace, man. Like, you know, the great. You know, Bernie Mac. Like honestly, like I was following Bernie from his Def Com because I again I was watching the Def Comedy Jam show late. You know, they should say late. So I remember like when there was one episode where Bernie and Chris Tucker they were on and they rocked the house. You know, I'm gonna say that again. They rocked the house, man.
There'll never be a comedian like Bernie Mac.
Yeah, I think he was so like his style was so unique. You know, like no, everyone's got their different comedic styles, like Martin, Chris Tucker, Dave Chappelle, but like you know, Bernie Mac was in his own, you know, his own realm,
and he didn't compromise his like style. No, with nobody.
Exactly. Nah, Bernie Mac was just the one who just went too soon, you know, and I was gonna ask, seeing as I mentioned it, and it definitely is tied in. Like, what did you think of like the Def Comedy Jam? Were you able to see like the episodes?
I've seen bits of it.
Yeah.
I went back on YouTube and watched like it was funny. It was funny.
It's very what I would say GQ like Def Comedy Jam is very raw.
Right.
Raw, you know.
I watched a documentary on Netflix of how like it used to got like bad like it used to got so much hate because of the profanity they used to like say on the show.
Yeah.
But they never stopped though.
They never stopped. No, it was I remember it was shot in New York and Russell Simmons, you know, was the pioneer for Def Jam. He was backing it up. So as you said, even though they were getting like major criticism, you know, weekly basis, like Russell Simmons was still backing it, you know, and you know, they were getting full shows like every night.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Same year, well, that came out at the same time in Living Color. So that was like a good time in comedy and TV.
Yeah. That's why, and I'm so glad you mentioned that. Like, all right, comparing like, okay, seeing as we're on the comedy section, yeah. All right, how do you think like comedy is different from, you know, as you said, like the Living Colors, the Martins, to now like, you know, the Kevin Harts and who's another comedian? I'm trying to think of.
Well,
yeah, the ones of the comedian. All right, like I saw him in Space Jam too. Got his name. Oh man, the one who was the commentator in the second Space Jam. I forgot. He's in Get Out. His name is.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Lil Rel? Was it Lil Rel?
Lil Rel.
Lil Rel, yeah. What do you think is like the difference now between the comedians then and like comedy?
There was fearless in the 90s.
I felt that
they were fearless.
Yeah.
Like it's like everyone wants to be like PC. Like in like today's
society, yes. Like, you know, whether that's a good thing or bad thing, but definitely the comedians now, it's like, yeah, they worried about like that cancel culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like who they're gonna offend. Where, as you said, like back then, you know, Martin, Dave Chappelle, you know, Chris, it was just like, man, anything that they need to do to get these audience, you know, like laughing their guts out. They would say it, you know.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I feel that's just a big like missing component of like, you know, just the comedians now, man, honestly.
Yeah, like in Living Color. I don't think Living Color might work today, but I think it would have got canceled.
Yeah.
Within like 6 episodes. And back then they were raw, they were fearless. Man, the sketches were like timeless,
man. I always go back like in Living Color, like some of the characters they made, like Homie the Clown, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I still to this day I'll watch the Homie the Clown skits.
Yeah, you know. Do you ever think like because like of the Wayans brothers, the one who I identified with the most was Damon. Like Damon Wayans. He was always my favorite. When I always watch the Wayans brothers, you know, I love Sean, I love Marlon, I love Keenan, but like Damon was always
underrated, bro.
I was gonna say that, bro. Do you think he's underrated?
Yeah, did you hear about the Damon versus like Chappelle versus?
Chappelle, I heard it. I heard it. They want to
Yeah.
do like a mic. I would love to see that. Yeah, I would love to see that. You know, but yeah,
Like who's beating Major Payne?
yeah. Who is? I think it's I don't know what it was. I was honestly because I remember when Damon Wayans was on the In Living Color show. He had the film with Bruce Willis. I think it was The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yes, sir. Oh man, definitely. I cannot. If you love the Die Hard films, you know, 1 and 2, 3, you would love like Last Boy Scout. But I thought like when he was in that film, he was gonna launch into like that Eddie Murphy,
Right.
you know, leading comedian. Yeah. You know, but yeah, I remember like he had one interview on because it wasn't just him. I remember do you remember Sinbad, the comedian? Yeah, he was what I used to love, Sinbad as well. You know, I used to watch the show. He had the Sinbad show came around. It's so rare. It is rare to find. Like I had to watch it again on YouTube. Like someone posted some clips and that, but yeah, Sinbad was someone again. I think it was just you know, I think with a lot of these comedians, because as you said, in the 90s, a lot of them were so fearless, you know, so I can imagine the competition was so high, you know, so it's like, you know, Martin was definitely one of those leading the pack, you know, like Chris Rock, you know, Bernie Mac, you know, but I felt like the other comedians, man, it was a time, it was a ocean filled with sharks then. Right. You know, that's what I definitely feel, you know, but yeah, like that, those times, man. So like, so with like so we talked about like the comedian 90s and that. So, all right. So from this like era, so like, let's talk about like dramatic. Do you like dramatic movies? Do you ever like, any favorite, like kind of dramatic films?
Dramatic films.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, I like what do you like? What movie comes?
Well, like the last like recent one, and it's like I only kept on putting it off because I'm someone when everyone keeps on saying, "Oh, watch this new film," you know, watch this. I'll be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna watch it." So I waited a long time to watch Joker. You know, yeah, I watched that Joker, and this one was nice because it didn't feature Batman, it didn't feature, you know, any of the superhero. It just featured like Joker from his point of view, and it dealt like with like, you know, him being like you know, he's like on the bottom of the barrel, you know, he's dealing with mental health, and it ends in a climax of he has to kind of change himself at the end of the film. You know, it's like he stops being the victim and he ends up being like a somebody, you know, at the end. So like that film, but it was a great like dramatical movie. Yeah. Oh. So like, yeah, that would probably
any like dramatic films off top. But
yeah.
My favorite, like one of my like all-time favorite movies, well, it had to be Juice.
Juice. Ooh. Juice. You got that juice. Oh my God. 1992. Tupac Shakur, Omar Epps. Man.
Justice. That was a good movie.
Yeah. You know.
But nothing's beating Boys in the Hood though.
Yeah. Nah. Honestly. And again, all came out that time in the 90s. Boys in the Hood, 991. And I think Juice was 1992. And another one I think people gotta remember is Menace to Society. Dive.
Yeah.
Classic.
Was like the good side. Menace to Society was like the bad, like raw,
yeah,
dark side. Yeah,
honestly, like I one time I remember I had my niece was at my place and Menace to Society played late, and I remember like we watched Boys in the Hood because they used to come stay at mine on Friday. I was able to watch Boys in the Hood. Like some scenes I had to kind of skip, like when Ricky got shot and I had to skip, but like with Menace to Society, I was like, no, cover your eyes, man. Yeah.
For the intro, yeah. The intro like set the tone.
Yeah, honestly, man, that was to the it had no boundaries. That film, you know, it's a legendary film, but it's like, man, it shows how. What I love with Menace to Society, it shows how gritty that time was. You know what I mean? For the young, like, you know, if we're keeping it real, like young black guys such as ourselves, you know, trying to survive in that, you know, urban, because it's saying California, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So it's a lot of like guys that could definitely relate, you know, to being like, you know, on the streets, you know, finding ways to, you know, survive as a young black dude, you know. So it's a very I was very sad, like, you know, the ending, you know, of it. It's like
What's the name? The main star of that movie.
man, I think it's uh Taryn Turner, yeah.
Like make it out of LA.
Yeah. And remember, like shout out as well to Jada Pinkett, Will Smith. Yeah. Fantastic role. From the whole, like the whole point of the movie, she kept on telling him, we gotta get out. Let's go. You ain't doing nothing. We gotta go. Hard-headed. Like a lot of them. He was like, no, I'm gonna, you know, stay here, you know, I'm gonna do this. And you know, look what happened. So it was such GQ. It was like a representation, you know, of what was going on, you know, the climate at that time, you know.
You know, it's sad that Sharif died too.
Yeah. The one who converted to Muslim Islam. Oh, man. You know, and there's like there's like an urban, it's not, I think now the rumor has been put out, like Tupac Shakur, you did Juice earlier. He was supposed to be Sharif in Minister Society. Yeah.
And he beat up the directors.
Yeah, so man, as much as I love Tupac, you know, great musician, great actor. I think he's a great actor. They said at one point he was so wild, you know, that time, you know, when he signed with Death Row. You know, Suge Knight was now with him. Like he had fights on that. I remember, as you said, Juice. You know, it was like a walking like target.
And Above the Rim.
That was the one. You know, yeah. I love Above the Rim. I love the Above the Rim, man.
Underrated movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marlon Wayans in it. Dwayne
Martin, man. What was he? There was the other one, Marlon, and the other guy. I forgot his name. Leon.
Yeah.
Leon. Yeah.
You know, it's another underrated movie. Cool Runnings.
Oh my God, I love that film. No one knows about this film, based on a true story. You know, the first Jamaican team to get into the Olympics. You know, it's a fantastic film.
It is, and it's a Disney film.
Yeah. You know, but man, some of these movies, man, because I always spend time, like at least like every like maybe 4 nights or 2 weeks, I always spend time to watch like a movie from the 90s, like I've not seen yet. Because again, like some of these ones, if they're not on Netflix, people don't think they exist, you know. You know what I mean? So it's like some of these ones, like Cool Runnings, as you said, you know. There was a Tupac film I watched recently called Bullet with Mickey Rourke. That's a badass movie.
Yeah.
That's a badass movie.
I mean, people just know Tupac from Juice and yeah.
It's pretty much like with Tupac, Juice, maybe Poetic Justice. You know, some of them know them with the Janet Jackson, but like, man, he had like this one called Bullet, gang related, Gridlocked with that's Tim Rock.
I've seen some parts of Gridlocked, but yeah, I just need to go back and just watch the gang.
Watch Gridlocked. I honestly think, man, out of Tupac's filmography, man, if I had to say like his top, because all of them were great. I love each performance, man. I really like Gridlocked. Yeah, Gridlock is, if you get a chance, definitely you could watch that back. You know, Bullet's definitely good as well. You know, and probably Above the Rim. You know, if I'm just speaking Tupac performance, you know, Above the Rim, Tupac was at his A game, man. Yeah, he was so sinister in that film, man. You know, remember the scene when Marlon Wayans comes in and he's being like, "Oh man, you know, I'm with you," and that, and Tupac just laughing and like, "Shh. Who is this guy? Is this a joke? Is this a joke? Is this, look at you?"
In Kyle's like career.
Yeah. just like differently, you know.
I'm sorry to say, you gotta come in. You gotta come in.
Yeah, but what they said a lot with Tupac is like his role in Juice, you know, him playing Bishop. They said it's like Bishop basically became like a character of who he was really, you know, like how he was in Juice. That's how he later became, like when he made the affiliation with like Death Row, you know, Suge Knight, and it was the height of the gangster rap.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's one of the things I feel that led to, like, you know, the demise of Tupac. You know, it was just like just the affiliation with all of that, you know. Otherwise he still would be here, like, you know, Supreme Legend, I believe, you know.
Since we're talking about Tupac, what do you think about the Tupac biopic?
Oh man, I'm not gonna curse on here, man.
They did that trailer. When they showed that trailer, it was gonna be like a blockbuster hit.
Well, that's GQ, man. I went to the cinema to watch Straight Out of Compton. You know, yeah, and you know, I watched that and I was like, man, because Tupac appears in the film. And I was like, man, if Tupac gets a film and it's the same director, F. Gary Gray, who directed The First Friday, he directed Straight Outta Compton. I was like, man, if he did a Tupac solo film, this would be, you know, legendary. Then, like, when the Tupac film and it wasn't F. Gary Gray, I was like, ugh.
It was better than, to me, it was better than the Notorious.
Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna mention the IG thingy.
Hey,
I'm not gonna
talk about Notorious. Man.
I don't even want to mention that. Like, those ones were, man. I'm telling you, I was only like the saving grace of Straight Outta Compton. When they said F. Gary Gray was directing it, I said, all right, I'm in. You know, he made Friday. He made Set It Off with Queen Latifah and Vivica Fox in the 90s. I was like down for that. But like when I saw, because the actor, he does resemble Tupac, who plays him in, All Eyes on Me. But man, when I watched the film, I was just, man, I couldn't. Somebody's such a big Tupac fan, man, I couldn't. Oh God.
More justice to this.
Ew, it's that, man. I don't know.
It's not horrible, but it's not best. It's just it is what it is.
It is what it is, honestly. You know what I mean? I think if someone does make one in the future, maybe they could do a better interpretation. Maybe, you know, or they could just leave it, you know.
They just leave it alone.
Leave it alone. You know what I mean? Just to keep Tupac's legacy, I think they should just
Tupac and Biggie beef.
Yeah. Honestly, man. All right. Now, speaking of that, so like let's go on a bit onto music, you know, like music stars, like because I'm in my, if I go into me, like with music, I was a big fan of the like some of the gangster rap, and then I was a big fan of like the hip hop. You know what I mean? Like the New Jack Swing, you know, like MC, I hate to say MC Hammer, I was a fan of, you know, Kid and Play, Fresh Prince, Jazzy Jeff. You know, who are your favorite, like, of the hip hop artists of the time, hip hop and rap artists? Yeah.
Like actor wise, like.
Oh no, just like in music. In music.
In my music, like taste is like all over.
Yeah.
I can listen to 90s rap, 90s R&B, 2000s rap, 2000s R&B, or that's pretty much what all I like listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All around, yeah. So like, all right, so say like, who would be your like favorite artist from the 90s? Let's do it. Like favorite artist from the 90s and favorite from the 2000s. Then maybe one from this era, like 2020.
So 90s, we have to put Tupac in there, of course. Tupac. 90s, man.
It was so many.
I love Naughty by Nature.
Tretch, Danny Boy, big fans, yeah.
Let's see, 90s. Man. Lauryn Hill is cool.
Lauryn Hill.
That's my favorite, like 90s hip hop, like female.
Yeah. And there was like man, like, because, I remember in the 90s, there was more of like groups, as you said, like, Naughty by Nature, Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh yeah, Wu-Tang.
Yeah, man, I love them. Like, there was a lot of like groups rather than like single, artists. So some of the female ones, like Lauren Hill and Mary J. Blige, they were like the few. Queen Latifah as well.
Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
Let me see what else. Yeah, Wu-Tang. Yeah, there's good variety. Jay.
Yes, yeah. Man, like from there, like definitely, I was a Pac and Biggie. Yeah, definitely. Those were like the main. Yeah, I know there's so many. That's the thing. It's a hard question I ask when I say, man, who's your favorite from the 90s? Because there is this, it's in a litany. Like, it's so many. Yeah, from the 90s and to 2000s, like 2000s is when like Jay-Z, and like Kanye West like came up,
What else 2000s? Like Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2000, yeah.
2000s like Lil Wayne, man, 50 Cent. I remember when he bust on the scene. Yeah. I was a man. When 50 Cent came out, I remember I copped his disc. I got the disc of In the Club, man. I kept on playing him. I had the MP3 player, I used to take it to school. I used to listen to like In the Club, 21 Questions, a PIMP. I used to listen to that. Yeah. Those are the ones, but like, 50 Cent, when he came on the scene, in 2000s, I think he like broke records for like, I think at one point it was one of like the best rap albums.
He went platinum in a week.
Yeah, and it was like what I love with 50 Cent. When he came out, there was nothing like him. No. You know what I mean? Like his look, like the personality, you know what I mean? It was something new.
Hey, people stop listening to Ja Rule. Listen to Ja Rule.
Ja Rule, man, he wasn't, man. Like, and he had a beef with him. I remember him and Ja Rule. Yeah, they had real like beef. But yeah, I was never like I remember Ja Rule had that he featured on I think it was Ashanti, like one like that. That's the one. Yeah, like that was the only one I knew from Ja Rule. But if you were to ask me of like any of his singles, man, I wouldn't know.
That's all right, man.
No, but yeah, I would say, man, honestly, like, but yeah, so as I said, with like comedy, from 90s like to now, and this is important to say because I think the music is definitely connected to like as like the TV and the movies, what do you say? Yeah, it's very like reflective of the time, so what would you say like with the music from like the 90s to like now, like would you think it's like a significant difference or like so how would you think?
Like what? I hate to bring this person up, but what is really beating R. Kelly? I Believe I Can Fly.
Yeah, honestly,
like
oh man,
that song is like that makes it.
Yeah, honestly, I thought I could fly. I really thought when I heard that, I was like, man, all I need is a red cape. I just need to possibly, but man, like that R. Kelly, when you said that, like when I feel, as we was talking about Space Jam, when I watched the first Space Jam, I can never forget R. Kelly's, I Believe I Can Fly, I mean? It's like it gives me goosebumps, thinking about that song, I mean? And I just feel like, this is with my opinion, with the music now, it's like I just don't have that, that kind of song that really touches me. You feel that kind of emotion, like kind of the way like how like Michael Jackson, like when he, some of his songs, it would like emotionally grab you. And you would be doing something, but you'd be thinking of something else when you would listen to it,
Yeah, like when you think of Above the Rim, you think of Regulate.
Yeah, man.
Another timeless song.
Pain as well. Pain, Tupac did Pain. Oh man, trust me.
What else? I might have to come back to that, but there's like songs.
Yeah, no, it's nice you said that because there was one thing I always loved is when those movies came out, like Friday, like Above the Rim, like House Party. Man, I sometimes used to just go back and just listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I used to spend hours like on
like classic soundtracks.
You don't have that. Do you remember, bro, GQ? Like, there was back in the day. I remember, like, when Friday came and they had the Friday, soundtrack. Ice Cube's in the movie. Throw your hands in the air, and they would show clips from the movie. They don't do that.
Like Aaliyah, the Dr. Dolittle soundtrack.
Oh, I love that one, man. R. Kelly, as you said, R. Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly. They showed the Space Jam, Michael Jordan, going for like the slam dunk. And he shows it in his music videos. I'm like, where do they do that now? Any big movie, they don't, the soundtrack and the film, they never combine as they used to do before,
I think today, like, the song doesn't even match the movie.
Yeah, that's what, man, honestly, because one thing I will say with the movies now, there was a long period that it was just like this superhero finale, it's just like superhero movie after superhero. Like one year, I remember there was Shazam, Avengers, Venom, they all came in one year. So I was like, man, I'm gonna go cinema and I'm gonna watch some guy wearing spandex like each time. I'm like, man, what happened to back in the day? But as you said, like with like the music, like a lot of them, they don't mesh, with what, they don't have like a actual, like if I were to say House Party, you already know the type of music.
A full force ain't my type of house.
This is like, it, man. One of the greatest. Oh my gosh, Public Enemy, 911. 911's a joke. Yeah, I love that one. Shout out to Public Enemy, man. Like a big fan. But like, I just feel like that time, I think anyone who was born in the 90s, as like we were like so blessed from that time, because like the music, the TV shows, the movies, I just think like it's an era now, like they won't able to like replicate it,
Back then rap was just taking off.
Yeah, it was like the golden age.
Right.
So it's just like so many like mainstream hip hop artists and like underground, artists that were there. DMX, rest in peace. He was like getting his break, like from like the 90s. Then he really blew up, with Rough Riders in 2000s. Yeah, so it's honestly, man, DMX was like I love his energy, man. Shout out, man. I love 50 Cent, but DMX was
DMX broke records too.
Yeah,
when he came out,
he broke ones, and he even had like a little movie. He had these movies as well. Romeo Must Die. I think he appeared in one movie with Steven Seagal as well. That was the one. Yeah. I didn't even mention that because all right. So GQ, I ask you, what were you ever a fan of like the? Because I know this was probably before your time. Like there was a time that there was these big like action, stars, like Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, so I know there was a time with, there was a time like, were you ever a fan of those like action movies?
Man, to be honest, I've never seen like the Terminator before. I've heard of it. I've seen clips of it. I was just not my cup of tea.
No, I truly get it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie as well. I'm not the biggest like action star. I always knew Schwarzenegger, but I do remember like
like Turtle Man was like the only movie I really.
It was Terminator, and I watched Predator. Like that was like the main two. Like when they said Schwarzenegger, I was like, okay, I know two. But I do remember there was a time when all of them were around there. Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, Stallone, Seagal. you know, so all around like the 90s, you know, then it's like I think now the ones who have kind of fallen over their legacy is like maybe Dwayne The Rock Johnson, what's his name? Yeah. I recently watched one of his films. I watched Jungle Cruise.
Oh, Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Hey, I think you should watch the show Ballers from. Have you seen it before?
I wish I had the horn. You know the one that. I wish I had the horn just to shout for Ballers. I'm watching it now on HBO.
Now?
I love it. I'm on. I just finished season 3. I'm going on to the 4th season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So watching it the first time.
Yeah, fantastic show.
Okay.
Yeah. I love Denzel Washington sons in there. John David Washington. Yeah. It's a fantastic movie, and I love it's based because Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, before he became like this big wrestler, he was NFL. Yeah, he was NFL before, but he didn't make it. That's when he transitioned to WWF at the time.
Did you watch wrestling growing up?
Oh, big wrestling fan. I was there when it was for people who don't know, let me tell you this. Like in the 90s, there was WWF and WCW. These two, they were fighting to put each other out of business. So at that time, it was the best television.
I'm telling you, like entertainment in the 90s was just golden. Like you just had to be there.
Yeah, you had to be there. We would. I remember, like, like Raw. What was it? Raw Monday Night Raw would be the same time as Nitro, and you could change. You could change the channel. You'd see like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and on the other channel you'd see like Goldberg and like Hogan. You know, Hogan like doing that. But it was just it's like you had to be there. You know, that kind of energy. You know, I remember finishing school. You know, straight Monday, I would ask my parents, "Can I stay up?" And we watch like WWE. I'm sorry, WWF, WCW.
Watch wrestling like faithfully. That was like, yo, we had to watch it.
Yeah, it's that time. That culture, it can never be like duplicated.
Right.
You know, at that time, you know, there was times like those university kind of like what's it called, sororities, you know, those group, they used to go to these WWF shows, you know, they would go maybe get the whole front row, you know, get like the shirts, you know, and get like, you know, watch the full shows, and some of them would go into the WCW, but like, you know, the way how like, you know, wrestling is now, it's just, it's not the same.
I would like flip the channels and I see that it's on and I'm like, man, it just brings back memories.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I would always flick on. Like I remember recently they had like a pay-per-view in like summer. They had SummerSlam. So I didn't watch it, but every time I would click online, it kept on showing like John Cena. You know, it kept on showing him. I was like, oh man, I can't say. I was like, what happened to The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, man? You know, but you know, times have changed, man. You know what I mean? Honestly. All right. So, GQ, I was gonna ask, like, as we talked about before, like your love for like, you know, movies and TV, you know, like, you know, doing the reviews, you know, letting people know, like, what is your like I wouldn't say like a purpose, but like like goal wise, what do you want to like you know, do like with the reviews?
With my reviews?
Yeah. Because I've watched them, as we said, like we've both done, you know, similar like kind of reviews. You know what I mean?
When I first started doing these videos, I didn't know what I was doing. Like last week, I went back and watched like my first few videos.
Yeah.
I would say I'm like, compared to my videos now, I'm more energetic.
Yes.
I'm more energetic, and there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
But my goal, man, of course, I love TV and movies. I want to still do these reviews. Yeah. I just want to release like good content. And whatever happens, happens. I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah, that's it. Going with the capacity. No, it's when you said that. I think some people don't even understand, like, as like a content creator, to sit down and do reviews. They will look at the time of the video and think like, oh, it's only 5 minutes. It's easy. It's not easy.
My first video, it took me so many, like I had so many takes.
Yeah.
Like I learned how to, like, you have to like write a script first and practice it. Yeah. But now I'm trying to like move away from like writing scripts, just like freestyle it, because I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's hard for me to, like,
Oh yeah. No, as you said, man, like I remember I've got my videos from back in the day as well, which I'm scared to look at. One day I may bring it up, but yeah, I was a similar way, GQ. Like I used to write it down on the script. I would be like talking, I'd be looking, okay, then like, so it's like I wasn't kind of free or confident to really be myself, and that took attempt after attempt, yeah.
Do it. It's not
an easy thing, especially when you're doing reviews, like movie and TV reviews. You got to get the stats, you got to get the actors, the location, who directed it, how much it grossed. There's so much information that you need just to get that, and then you got to project it to the people who watch the channel. So it's a difficult task, but if you have that passion, you will always kind of stick with it. Yeah.
Right. Keep going. Like, my advice, just keep going. Don't look back. Like for me, after my first video, I never looked back. I never looked back.
That's the way, honestly. It's
like, 20 videos in, I never looked back.
Yeah. And honestly, I think I was watching one of the creators as well. I believe when you can go back and look at your old videos and you can be like, oh, did I do it like that? I believe that means you've improved. You have like leveled up, because you should. I mean, when someone has been doing it, I've been on like YouTube now for like 4 years, coming on 5, and you've been on just under a year, a year. So like when you can go back and look at those videos back in the day and be like, okay, I can do it like this now. It shows the maturity now.
And like just YouTube, like YouTube other people and get like learn other tips, what you can do better.
Honestly, there's so much and that's one like advice, like for anyone who's starting like a YouTube channel. For me, just like you, it was the passion for like movies, film. Like what I loved, I was like, okay, maybe someone who would like these videos would, subscribe or, follow,
Another thing, when I was starting to create these videos, I didn't think people like watch this type of stuff, but I like YouTube. Like I searched on YouTube. A lot of people does this stuff.
Yes.
Let me give this a try.
You'd be surprised, if anyone is just making that first step. Because if you just kind of forget about like subscribers or like making money from it, it's just like if you can go there, be yourself, do what you like to do. I guarantee, bro, you will get the following. Like that will come naturally.
My first couple of videos, I had a couple of people share my videos.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Just don't quit. Just keep going.
Honestly.
The love for it and the passion for it, keep going.
Yeah, no, that's what because I got friends like you again, they started their YouTube and they probably went like 2-3 months and they were watching like subscribers. So they were like, oh, if I don't get 1,000 subscribers in 3 months, I'm not gonna continue. And I told one of my bros, I was like, man, it don't work like that, man. You gotta be in it for what you want. Yeah. It's not about getting like, oh, I'm gonna be like some, big popular, YouTuber or something. If you go in there with that mindset, I believe you will always be disappointed.
Right.
You know, so it's like you just have to keep on continuing grinding on, you know what I
I
mean?
want to just
Yeah.
do this with low expectations. Your,
Yes.
your first video, you're not going to get.
Bro. I will try if I can, man. I will try to bring up like a flashback Friday. I'll share one of my early videos.
Bro, good.
It's super cringe, man. If I get it, I'll definitely put it out.
Going. It doesn't matter how many views you get a
Yeah.
video.
Mhm.
Always keep going. Always have ideas
Yes.
and outside the box.
And that, yeah, is a great thing. Thinking outside of the box. I believe that's a way. You know, if you are looking that ways, you know, if you want to like really take it seriously, because there are YouTubers who do this full time. You know what I mean? Like this is their bread and butter. You know what I mean? But I think they would, for them to like get to full time, they must have been doing something that is out of the box and it's caught people's attention. So I think that's very significant. You know, if you do your videos, again, be yourself, but like try not to copy. You know, that's one thing I never. You know, I'm pretty sure you and GQ, right? I never go on and be like, oh, someone did a Friday review or a house party review, I'm gonna copy it like word. No.
Even with Station, like the
Yeah.
Station, I thought about doing the Station 2 review. I'm like,
Right.
nah, it's gonna be mad reviews.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, let me watch this film like 3 or 4 times before I, get my final verdict.
Yeah. To your own one. Yeah, no, it's gotta be because I believe most of the audience like they can see something that's not genuine. You know what I mean? And that's why there was a time when people when I was really going in reviews, I was trying to do one every week. I would always look that like I would search like, okay, no one has done like a Nutty Professor review. Okay,
Right.
like think I should do it. I would look. Then if I saw someone already do this, I'll be like, no, I'm gonna do something that's completely
Yeah,
you know.
that's what I did with my videos. I did shows I like
Yeah.
know by heart. Then if someone wanted to like request, I'll like watch the show or movie first before I go, like my like final thought.
Force on it. Yeah. So it's real. Yeah, no, I remember when I saw your videos, you know, I saw like Jamie Foxx show and I was like, no one has done, no, it's not, bro. No one has done the Jamie Foxx review. Yeah.
No Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all love him. You know what I mean? I would, again, like I was watching that with the Wayne Brothers show. They used to show it like back to back on BET. So, you know, yeah, you know what I mean? So I would just say, man, like any ones who are looking to, because I got one message from one guy on Twitter. He was telling me like he wanted to start, he saw one of my reviews and he said he wanted to start doing it. And I told him like, yeah, if you can, just try to make your one, your personality, you know, stick on your lane. You know, if you try to copy it as someone else's, people are just going to look at the original. They're going to look at the copycat.
Have you done the live video, like a Facebook live video or Instagram live video yet?
No, I've done YouTube. I used to go on YouTube live, you know. So yeah, I used to go on live and I used to do like a top 5 series of like, you know, top 5 actors and we would do their films, you know. But I haven't I've always wanted to do Instagram or Facebook live, you know.
I did my first live video. That was so hard.
Oh my God.
I was going in thinking like, you know what, no script. I'm just gonna go off dome. Like
freestyle.
I had to do my first take. I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna kill this one. So I ended that one. So I was like, you know what? Forget this.
Yeah.
I went in, I was stiff, but like later on in the video, I was like more comfortable. Doing live videos is hard, man.
Honestly, you know, I was doing a lot of lives like early this year. You know what I mean? Like it was me and my friend, and I used to do some by myself. And yeah, you know, when you don't have the time to like edit or you say something and you can't go back, it's
It's there.
It's really like, man, yeah.
You don't worry about people watching it,
Yeah.
if people are watching or not. But at this point, like you shouldn't care.
Exactly.
Like,
And yeah, I think that just it goes to again of like it's just the repetition. You know, if you really are passionate about it and you love it, you know, if you just keep on like knocking, keep on going on it, I think gradually you just get more comfortable on the camera. So it's just and I think that it's kind of like an art form. It's like an art. Once you can really be in front of like the camera and make like regular cool like videos, it's like it's a skill at the end. Yeah, because it's not easy. I remember, man, GQ, I remember the chill I used to get like when I would go on live, or even the first like YouTube videos. I used to just be like, oh man, what am I gonna talk about? And I got the script. Oh man.
I'm learning not to say or like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would try like, I would always be thinking so much about like, oh, how are people gonna view me, when I should be focusing, okay, this is how I just need to present it. Forget about it. I'm in here, let me just focus. And now it's like I've come to the point, like I can do that. Like I can focus on the main task. And people would then gravitate to it, rather than worrying about like, how people, see it.
Just have to do you and just remember you're doing this for yourself. And if you have like good supporters on your side, you're doing that for you and them.
Exactly. All right, awesome. Okay, so GQ Jammal, we're gonna bring that to a close now. What I want to say is GQ Jammal, where the best way like people can find you, because I'm gonna put it in the description below, so if they want to like like a review, if they want like you to like review like a specific request, where's the best way they can find you online?
You can find me on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's GQ Jammal, GQJAAL, or find me on Instagram. Same
Instagram. One. Yeah. So folks, I will put that in the description. Definitely check out GQ Jamaal's reviews. When I first stumbled, when I came on your channel, I was just like, man, he's doing reviews that I never knew someone did. Like when I saw Jamie Foxx, I saw Bad Boys, I saw Friday, I saw House Party. I was like, okay, there's someone who is in the same kind of, they love the 90s, they love that kind of culture. I was like, oh, okay, excellent. We definitely have to do this. Trust me. But yes. So yes, guys, GQ Jammal, much thanks, for coming on this. Definitely subscribe to his channel. Check out his Instagram. He's, as GQ said, he's willing to do requests. If you're interested in doing movie reviews and that. I have a movie review that is in the works, so I should be putting it out next week. Just gotta put the final, screws on. What I mean? But yes, looking forward to see, more reviews from GQ Jammal. RichManZ is going to be putting more reviews and that, So yes, any final things you want to say, GQ?
No, I'm just working on more content.
Yeah.
Just having fun with it. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this video. This is my first video, man. I hope we get to do more in the future.
Big shout out, what I mean? It was nice because we touched on like, music, the movies and TV shows. So even down the line, we could definitely do one specifically. Maybe it's just on like, maybe one time just talking about Martin. I would love to. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I'm down for more collabs in the future. Just hit me up.
Yes.
I'm down.
For sure. Okay. All right, guys. So yes, man. We're going to be signing out as GQ Jammal and RichManZ, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace to the rest. All right. Take it easy. And